I spent the last couple of years managing projects, from running like small activities in my tiny little English club back in university, to bigger professional project with a real budget in local and international companies. Some of my projects were successful, which is great, but more often some of them fall short on the journey. And let me tell you this, it hurts a lot. And it hurt the same way every time it happened. Not only it was a failure in terms of investment for my company, it was a giant Phuong Pham punch into my chest, shattering my confidence and posing big questions for my capability. So because of that pain, I put myself on the quest to go out there and learn about project management, and find out the secret sauce, the hack, so that I can never fail again. At this very moment, I think I figured it out. I have the answer. There's no such thing. There's no universe in which you have complete control over something, right? Anything can happen. Maybe you make the wrong decision. Maybe your teammates screw up. Maybe your partners one day turn the table and break the promise. Maybe all of that happened at the same time. And your success just spiral down into the black hole of impossibility, right? So I figured out that my obsessions over the final outcome doesn't necessarily put me forward and put me where I want to be, but instead cripple me of the ability to enjoy the process, to persevere through hardship, and get the best out of myself. So now, I know I take it more easily. I no longer see success as a checklist of achievement that I have to get there, but rather the possibility of success that my project teams can together maximize. Just like, so if you imagine, the project goal or the objectives are like a bullseye, like a target, then you will either miss it or hit it, right? There's nothing in between. But if you refer to another concept of possibility of success, then it's more like a cup in which you will fill in the effort, the resources that your team had. With the possibility of success, there will be always something there, even though that is not filled up. And you will never be empty. There will be something for you to be proud of, knowing that you've done your best. And I think that this is a much more liberating way to define success for your project. Okay, so maximizing possibilities. How do we do that? Normally when we think of project management, we think of what? To-do lists, deadlines, right? Logistics, people, budgets, things like that. And we try to put it into a concrete plan. And we think that if we check off every task, then we will be done. Wrong. In reality, most of the time, a project fails, not because you are just a few days late for a deadline, or you fail to do some task properly. A project falls apart when a team falls apart, and you run out of money, or you lose the money, or you lose the people you need to keep the project going. A project fails because the energy and the resource of the team hit bottom and you cannot get them back up. Instead of looking just only in deadline or timeline or to-do list, I offer a new angle and perspective to view a project so that you can see the factor to tap on to maximize the possibility. So here you can see there will be two primary factors: the energy and the resources, right? So energy, what is energy? What is energy of the project teams? So energy is basically, well, your project team energy, motivation, bond, and the willpower to work on a project task and complete it, right? And the resources will include money, people, external support, Things like that, like all the assets that your project team needs to move towards your goal. And these two factors will not stay flat, but instead fluctuate throughout the duration of your project. And you can totally like make predictions of how we're doing go up or down. For example, for energy, every single team will start a project really strong. Like, we are so gonna make this happen, or our TEDx is going to be twice as big as TEDxHanoi, like that. But after a long time, putting a lot of hard work in, but not yielding a lot of result, the spirit can go down. But you can get it back up after a good turn, for example. If your project team receive a good deal of sponsorship, or your team went on a team building event and you feel good, then the spirit of the team can go up, right? In another scenario, it can slope down again if your project team encounters a conflict but remain unresolved. As for resources, not all of the projects start off with a lot of resources. We lack of people, we lack money, right? But gradually, as we work on it, those things will come, and and the line will go up. But in another scenario, it can slope down if there's no, another sort of resource coming in, and your financial resource, for example, your wallet just become thinner and thinner due to expenses, accident, or investment. So this is not a typical situation of any project. Like, this is just an example that I put out for you. So because like every project can be different, and it is your job to monitor frequently and decide what action to take. The point is, when you put out a possibility maximizer, you have a visualized measurements of where your team are, and you have something to work on, you have something to make predictions and make decisions with. And from that, you can how to take action to maximize the possibilities for success, which is the risk between two lines, and try your best not to let them fall into the on alert stage. Cool. Okay, so now that you are aware of the possibility maximizer, very fancy name. Well, the question is, how do we do that? How can we ensure that our possibilities can be maximized? Then I'm really sorry to disappoint you again, but there is no certain one-stop shop answers. It really depends on the situation of each project. What I can do, in fact, is sharing my own experience with 3 lessons that I learned from my experience in both running projects in my company and TEDxHanoi. And upon my reflection, I think that we are the 3 main contributors in maintaining and improving a decent level of energy and resources. And I hope that you, all of you or some of you, can find relevant and take it back to your team. Lesson number 1, getting things done fast, easier said than done. But how is it relevant? So the feeling, the fulfilling, motivated, ready to conquer the world feeling after you finish a task in your to-do list. We all experience that feeling, right? And strangely enough, even though that we have spent a lot of energy on doing that task, when we accomplish it, we don't feel drained out. We feel motivated, and we have more energy. This is the very moment that we feel more ready than ever to jump in and start doing on another task in the list. So good news is, this doesn't only apply individually, but also apply to a team. When a completion, so there's a task in the to-do list, get it done, the energy will spike up, right? And then, but then this energy stream doesn't just stay there. It's not permanent. It's going to fade away. It's going to go back down. So if you want to keep your energy up, then you have to make the interval between the completion event shorter, like that, right? So, when the energy from the first completed task is not totally fade away, there's another task that gets completed and the energy gets pushed up again. A great example is Long Lê, our head organizer of TEDxHanoi. He is the fastest doer that I ever met. The moment that he told us that he will on to something, he actually almost done with it. He told us that I'm going to organize TEDx workshop one day, and then the next day he's done with all the information on the website. That's insane. So by dividing the project task into the bite-sized chunks and take aggressive action to have it done one after another, he managed to keep the progress steady and also create an environment, energy-filling environment that help everyone else hustle along with him. Lesson number 2, empower the member. Imagine that it's you, getting things done really fast, but doing absolutely everything because you want to take control of everything. You don't want other people to mess it up. But guess what? By taking all the responsibility to yourself, you are actually taking away the opportunity to learn and to contribute from your team members. Also, I challenge you to stay sane and to not being burned out after a long time doing that. I have a little trick for that, empowerment. So for every project that I ever worked through, I always create this opportunity for my members to have a complete ownership for something, or just a scope of work that they have full decision-making power from beginning to end. So that's not just a task, it's a mini project that you are the project managers. That sounds so much better, right? I also applied this from my experience at the time that I was working as a volunteer manager in TEDxHanoi. So I had to manage 25 volunteers, a lot of volunteers. So instead of working directly to each and every one of them, I divided them into a small group from 2 to 5 people. And from this one group, I choose our leader. Okay, so this leader, their duties will be the main contact point of the teams, and also ensure the operations run smoothly in the team. And coordination is needed to move volunteers from this group to other group. I don't have to do that. The team leader have to reach out to the other team leader and request for the number of volunteers that they need. So basically, after setting all of them up on this arrangement, I'm done for the day, and then go to the tea break corner and spend the rest of my day there. So when you empower your member, you achieve 2 things. The first thing, you save a lot of energy. You save a lot of energy for yourself, and you only have to focus on supervising, solving problems, and giving feedback to your member. And also, this is a great thing, I think, that you don't have to be the only source of energy and resources for your team, because you are now that responsibilities is divided even in your team. Lesson number 3 is all about experience. I think that maximizing possibilities is all about creating positive experience for others. Because think about it, no matter what your project is about, whether it's a volunteer or business project, isn't your project first created to serve a certain group of people? So when these people trust you, and they give you, and they feel satisfied, and they feel valued, and they feel happy, and they want to contribute their resources to you, money, network, support, whatever, so that you can create more similar experience for them and for other people. Isn't that the greatest source of energy and resource that you can tap on? My philosophy of project management has changed drastically over the last 6 years. But this one has never changed, and it had never failed me, right? Take an example of TEDx workshop, the event that we're having today. TEDx is not only about the talks, It's also about the booklet that you are holding in your hand. It's the lunch you eat. It's the surrounding environment that you are networking around. It's a lesson that you bring home. Everything and every single thing here happening today was planned, chosen, and implemented with one question shared among our head. Does it add up to be the best experience that our attendee can ever have? So, I remembered Ernest Becker's, a very famous American author. He has a very interesting concept, immortality project. This is the concept is about, because our physical being will someday disappear, and that is the reason we know that, we are aware of that. And that is the reason why we work so hard through our life, with the wish that we will leave a permanent legacy on this earth after we are gone. We might die someday, but our being will be remain with the next generations, and with the impact of the work that we spend our life devoting to. So because we know, so TEDxHanoi, TEDx workshop is also an immortality project. And I know that in your heart also have an immortality project. And because we know that this matters to us so much, we are very quick to fall into the trap of obsessing over the impact that we want to see immediately. So with this talk, I invite you to slow down, feel the environment, feel the surrounding, feel the people around you, and take your actions to lengthen the thread of success possibility without forcing it. And in no time, I believe that the resources and the energy that you thought run right will come back to you. They're the same that happened to me. This talk is particularly a very challenging project for myself too. At times I feel very defeated, I feel exhausted and unable. As a matter of fact, this very morning I have a panic attack, and I never thought that I can bring myself to come to this stage. But because I am a person who sticks to my philosophy and who sticks to my principle, I acted. I got things done, which is I practiced the whole speech again, from the beginning to end, to have the sense of achievement. I empowered myself with kind words, and I went down and I talked to people, and I focused on the possibility that some of you might benefit from my talk. So here I am, standing on the stage at this very moment, and I am proud to say that the possibilities of success of my own project have been maximized, and I hope that all of you can say the same in the near future. Thank you.